I'm going to make the tips for my soldering gun. This is 8 gauge copper. First thing I do is mark center and then go through and just kind of scratch the way around with a pair of diagonal cutters. It doesn't have to be a deep scratch, it's just a mark. So we're going to heat this with a torch so it'll burn up all this mark off here. So we'll heat this right now. It's a good idea to have a little thing of water and a rag ready because the copper is hot. You want to cool it down so you can work with it right away. Okay, so after heating, you end up with something like this. You don't need to heat the whole thing, just the center of it, because we're going to smash it with a hammer to reduce the actual area, so it's easier to grind down and control the resistance on the end. So we'll go through here and smack all these first. Okay, so after we smack it once with a hammer, we'll end up with something like this. Now we don't want to go too far because copper work hardens very quickly. So next thing we're going to do is go back and hit these all with a torch again and cool them down so that I can again flatten it a little bit more. Just keep in mind at the center is the work area. We want to get that pretty flat. Okay, all of these have been heated again, so we removed our work hardening. We can go back through and smack them again and make them thin. Usually I find it takes, you got to hit them 2 or 3 times. So we'll see how this next layer of whacking them with the hammer turns out. Okay, so here's the second round of whacking them with the hammer. And I can see I'm going to have to heat them one more time. Give them one more good whack. So I'm going to heat them now with a torch. And here we are. I just heated them all again. We have about 2 or 3 more heat cycles and we're actually ready to form the tip. So I'm going to go whack these again, make them a little bit thinner. Okay, so I just finished whacking. And you can see the difference in the thickness there. That'll end up our tip. I'm gonna go through, heat everything, and this time I'm gonna straighten them up after I heat them. Okay, so I heated them and went ahead and straightened them up the best I could there. So it feels like I might be able to get it to the start of a bend. So I'm going to start bending them, and that way I can get away with one more heat cycle, I hope. Okay, that's about all the more I wanted to take bending them. I don't want to risk bending too far because the copper as it work hard, it will crack, and that would be a hell of a thing to put all that much work into and have it crack that close to being a finished product. So I'm going to go through here and hit them with the torch again, loosen them up. Okay, so I went ahead and hit that with a torch and then put the finishing bend on there. Now what I'll do is I'll straighten them all up at the ends because that was not too bad, but some of these are likely a little excessive, like that guy there. Just straighten them up, cut them all up flush, and then we'll start working the tips in. Okay, so there we are. The ends pretty much straightened up. Now I'll start cutting the actual soldering tip into it using a Dremel. Okay, so I went ahead and cut 2 tips in. This is a starter tip here. And the thing to remember is that you just want a high resistance at the tip, but of course the more material you lose, the quicker it'll get and the hotter that it'll get. So you can actually melt the tip down. I've seen these tips glow red hot already, so there's just a little bit of caution you have to have. And also the less mass it'll have, so it'll cool down quicker. So I like to keep a couple tips around in case I need to grind something special. So I'm just going to make 2 of them here and get these tinned up. These are this is what I'd consider just to be a starter tip. It's good general purpose use. So I'll go ahead and put this in the old soldering gun there and get these tinned up. And there's my final tip. So I'll put that in my drawer ready for the next use after this guy breaks. Okay.